Hello everyone, this is Heath Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. Here we are again, Summoner Duels S, and this time around we did pretty well. Got up to tier 17. Unfortunately, we couldn't go all the way to max glory, but that's pretty much expected because our teams are pretty mean. Of course, like usual, the last team is a bait ban team. Not a particularly scary looking team if people have the right team. So there were some times where this team wasn't banned, but we definitely got a ton of bans from it. So that was good for us. Decided to try out bonus doubler seal and legendary Grom. Honestly, not that great. There was a lot of times where it just did not matter, and it would have been better to run an actual attack and speed boosting seal slot because some enemies had low attack speed, for example. And I almost completely forgot about legendary Almar existing as a unit, so we ended up foddering one of our many ninja Shinon Stone for attack speed, solo 4, and full speed defense. Not a surprise, when you run him with Harmonized Catcher, a lot of the times attack speed solo 4 doesn't actually proc, so that wasn't great. At the end of the day though, long term, at least we have something better on him than Death Blow 4. So there's that. And we're running low speed defense because we're of course running a droid captain, so we can get no follow-up. And well, we ran this team with Harmonized Roy, Harmonized Katria, and Legendary Lona because of course the Harmonized skills need to be from the same titles to actually get relevant buffs. So we did that. And of course we have Raisin for support. Kinda didn't know what to slap on him because Legendary Roy already buffs for attack and speed to everyone but Raisin. So I figured we'd just run attack openings so Legendary Luna can always get the field buff even if she's not nearby, which a lot of times we didn't have her nearby, so that was a good choice, I feel like. Last but not least though, we have this weird team featuring our bonus unit Naga. Definitely a much more useful post-remix for support. Divine Fang Plus is fantastic for us. Decided to try out Duo Nina. I knew going in that 1, she would absolutely struggle against damage reduction, and 2, she doesn't have that much speed. So actually doubling things and proccing a droid captain would be non-trivial. And also her bulk on the defense side is pretty non-existent, which is why we're running attack defense catch seal. But as we'll see in replays, even that wasn't enough. So we ran our Legendary Nana, of course, for some melee nuking potential, and not so we could fool around with Duo Nina, potentially some more with Pathfinder. And as an actual combat unit, I was debating whether to run bonus doubler on her, but I figured that she wasn't going to be too relevant in combat a lot of the time, so it wouldn't really matter. So on PNE, since we already had field buffing via Naga, I figured we should just run defense tactic to further give Duo Nino some chance of survival. But anyways, we pretty much just ran a droid captain on everyone because, well, Effulgence would have been pretty good. Effulgence, how you pronounce it, would have been pretty good in some particular matchups, but I figured probably not worth it most of the time. The no follow-up is just too good on some of our units to not run. And then Dauntless just didn't feel that great because special acceleration is kind of not a huge concern for us, because either we have units like Legendary Ult who just do not care about guard and all that stuff, or it would just have too high cooldown of a special like lethality to actually take advantage of it. So without further ado, let's get straight into the replays. And once again, the common theme in our bans was, do we see Duo Dagger with remotely menacing units with Pathfinder? If yes, then we ban. So we pretty much ban Duo Dagger every time, naturally. And then if there was Yuri plus Duo Crom plus more Cancer, then we would ban that team. Essentially, but it wasn't that completely dead brain this time around. Sometimes we actually let the opponent keep their Yuri slash Duo Crom teams if we could threaten them. So, of course here, I decided it's our first match, what could possibly go wrong? Let's try out the Duo Nina team. And well, the problem starts here because, of course, there's sudden panic, so our field buffs are inverted, and they have a Farsight Ignatz with Distant Defense 4, so no field buffs for Duo Nina, which is kind of a large problem because she is short, barely short of one-shotting Ignatz, and unfortunately she cannot take a counter, and the guy also has Tannin Bow Plus, so things are quite awkward. Can't really do much about it. And so we go for the exchange just because we don't have anything much better to do. We basically already lost the match because of Ignatz.
We can steal anything.
Because they just leave their units in range of Ignatz and we can't really do much about it. So we just try to remotely threaten them, but they're... Lorenz here also has no follow-up, so no guaranteed follow-up protection.
Focus on the task.
We just popped the duo skill for the memes. We can't really do anything here, so we're just going to barely survive, not to pick up the one-round KO. That's about it. We can pick up the kill here, but the match is over. It's turn 5. They're gonna pick up another kill here, and we can't take out Ignatz, so it's just GG. And of course, in this mode, Asker is incredibly strong for his support as well as just his defense-based fixed damage reduction. So, a pretty darn bad matchup for us. So we start out the season with an L. And for the most part, a lot of the teams, similar units, not surprising. The Duels meta is pretty simple in the sense of you need units that can nuke and you need units that can actually threaten in terms of range, because if you have a bunch of threatening units but they can only move one space, chances are you're not going to win that matchup because they just move too slow. You might just be able to draw, that's about it. But fortunately for us, we can pick up the one-round KO on their Nemesis. So, they're unable to pick up the kill on Legendary Sigurd. Like I mentioned in my quick rundown of the new Brave heroes, Brave Female Byleth has problems dealing with damage reduction. That's a prime example right there. 40% damage reduction on the first hit and 80% on the second. Not even close. The matchmaker is also pretty wonky this season. We either got matchups against much lower tier players or much higher tier players just because, well, there's not that many people playing Summoner Duels competitively. So it's pretty easy to maintain top 1k as long as you play reasonably. So here, I'm not sure what they were going for here because they really should have camped out for capture zone points because they had the range advantage over us, but they didn't do that. We just get a free kill on their Freya, and now they have to play aggressively here, but we happen to damage calc the one-round KO on Duo Thune, which is unfortunate for them because now we're gonna body block with Lona. And we have a huge actions advantage. So we can just pick up 2 kills here, and there's nothing they can do with just Ascended Lake Yarn to win here. even if they picked up 2 kills with Ascended Leg Yarn and we did absolutely nothing, we would still win, so ripperonis. This is an example here of us getting heavily up tiered on matches. We're up against a tier 20 opponent. And well, definitely an interesting opponent. They have not 1 Kanto control, but 2 Kanto controls. So clearly we're not going to get Kanto off anytime soon. And of course they have pretty solid support in Harmonized Sonya. They immediately pop the Harmonized skill to get those specials pre-charge. The special pre-charge on Legendary comms. There's that. Here we're just making sure that we have an escape route in case they do go aggressive, which they do. And here we plop Ash in range because we're inviting the exchange of Harmonized Sonya so we can get a captain kill. So we get more points. So they have to come to us. So we have the theoretical advantage at that point. Although, funny enough in this matchup, the reason why I did what I did with turn 1 was because I thought, for some reason, that Harmonized Sonya was duo Thor. So I was expecting Stall to go down. I didn't want Stall to proc on Legendary Sigurd. But yeah, that's not duo Thor, so kind of awkward there. They do end up going for the exchange, so go for it here. Oddly enough, they go for the duo skill usage here, which I can understand. They don't want Legendary Sigurd or Dual Crom getting up their specials, because that would definitely be devastating for Dual Ike if Legendary Crom gets up Deadeye. So here we have to end turn early so we can go for this. We go for the attack here because I already damaged Kelp that Duo Ike cannot pick up the kill on Legendary Crom. So essentially the point is that we don't give them 4 points. I was willing to give up the 3 points if they decided to pick up the kill on Legendary Crom with Legendary Lilna, which is definitely feasible, because it would just be a 3 points for 3 points exchange, which I would be totally fine with, except for the part of subsequent turns, but we don't worry about that. But the thing was that Crom got up Deadeye because, well, they charged it up for us with Dual Ike attacking. The thing was, our opponent was low on time. They also had some connection issues, so I don't know if they just took too much time or the lag or something caused them to get auto battle going. But because of that, we get the win here against our tier 20 opponent. But we don't even get that much relevant points for actually winning against such a higher tier opponent. We got an extra 20 glory or something, which, given that we started with, I forgot exactly how much, but our last 3 digits on our glory was 999. Chances are extra 120 glory does not or extra 20 glory does not matter if we're going to lose. But a lot of the times we definitely got matched up against lower tier opponents. That doesn't mean that they're worse opponents, it just means that they're in a lower tier. And I guess technically we have more to lose, I don't know. Because of course it can be just folks climbing later in the season, although we were playing this day 1 on Thursday, so here we're just advancing our position. And I leave Harmonized Roy there to be free bait if they want to take him out with no they can. They actually go for it, which is objectively bad because they are feeding us a captain kill for 4 points. That's just not a good idea. Especially if they have no dancer, which they don't. We're gonna have a massive advantage over them, and so they're gonna try to burn actions with the Harmonized skill to prevent us from giving them the first turn. But of course they can't win that match. that matchup. They shouldn't have used it there. So we can just stall for time. We're ahead on points. This is the problem with Summoner Duels. Once you're ahead, you can just camp around. They try to advance on us to make it interesting, because if we do make a mistake, they can still win or draw or even win if we absolutely throw, but there's nothing they can do here to win. So once we have the points advantage, that's just a win for us. But the actions advantage thing is, there's nothing you can really do to balance it. Harmonize and dual skills are just too broken when you can just use them whenever you feel like. It's a burn in action if you want to stall time, essentially, because one of the problems with burning actions is that your unit is no longer able to act the following turn. So if it's one of your units that is holding threat range, that is a huge deal. And so here, we're just preparing for if they're going to open up the map, which they do here. We're ready to go. Ready for all of our units to essentially go in and nuke. And we go for the nuke here because we're inviting an exchange captain for captain kills. Of course, they don't allow that. But here we're not sure what they're planning there. Putting in Riev, but that's just a free kill for us. So that's just a ripperoni for them at this point. There is nothing they can do. We have the point advantage, so we can just sit and camp. But we can also play hyper aggressive here and pick up kills, burning time like so, using our Harmonize skill. So, Legendary Alm. Again, you can see there, attack speed solo 4, not even active. It was useless quite a bit, but in other modes, attack speed solo 4 will definitely be more useful than that. It's just, for our particular purposes, running in with Harmonize Catcher, not the smartest ace slot, but I'm gonna be real, Death Blow 4 would not have changed anything. So for a lot of our teams, the main win condition is make favorable exchanges and force the enemy to come to us kind of deal. Because we have nukes, so if they try to come in, we just get points from nuking. So here, funny enough, for a couple of turns I didn't notice that Harmonize, or not Harmonize Sheeta, Legendary Sheeta had Assault Troop. So I was like, wait, why can't she move that far? I almost threw some of our units for free because I almost forgot about Assault Troop. The threat of Assault Troop. Because of course for a while the walls hadn't been broken yet, so kinda awkward. But we're just stalling, and we're essentially just camping out with Legendary Lorna down here to see a couple things, to gauge how good our opponent is to some poor metric, and to see if we can just get a points advantage. Because, of course, we don't actually want to pick up a kill there, since they will get the points advantage from picking up a captain kill with their Bride Lilna. So we would be down 1 point, and we definitely don't want to try to be aggressive against their team, which is literally nukes. Ranged nukes with Kanto. We don't have Kanto control, so that's kind of a problem. And so here, we are just in the winning position because we have, again, the point advantage, and we can pick up a revenge kill here. And you can't pick up any capture points with just one unit, so there's absolutely no way for us to lose at that point. And well, that's just a ripperoni for our opponent. Once again, here we are trying our Duo Neo team. I believe this was one of the matchups where we basically had to use this team because the only other team was our throwaway team that isn't even fully built. Thinking about it again, probably should have actually built their skill sets just in the random chance that they would actually be a reasonable team against the opponent. I don't know why I'm showing my team, I already done that. So here, the main threat, of course, is Brave Marv. Because the thing with Brave Marv is, of course, his Vantage shenanigans when his allies have enough field buffs, which, given this team, they can definitely get quite a few field buffs going. So, fortunate for us, we have this thing called a duo skill. So it is possible for us to prevent the
We
Vantage
can
from going
steal
down.
anything.
We pop the duo skill here immediately since we have units in range, and they decide to pull out their legendary Zero, but what they didn't know is that legendary Nana can just pick up the kill. Because unfortunately for them, all of their units were panicked, so the only field buffs available were not sufficient for the at least 60 in field buffs, so we could just pick up the kill on Brave Marv for free. Duo Nina not able to one-shot, that's one thing to note. So definitely pretty underwhelming in terms of her combat performance. If she had some damage reduction, she would definitely be able to survive a lot better and pick up kills, because she can double the units, it's just she can't survive to attack twice. It's kind of a problem, especially against far save units. And she has null follow-up and Adroit Captain, so that's incredibly useful against Hardy Fighter, or not Hardy Fighter, but like Brave Hectors and whatnot. And well, here we are with our goofball team, up against an interesting team here. It's essentially a bunch of ranged nukes, so if we had a competent fire save unit, we basically would have auto-won this match, but even though we have a Ascended Fiorm, I actually just, I don't know why I keep showing my units. Even though we have Ascended Fiorm, I didn't even put her in our brigades, because I'm just like, what is she gonna do? Nothing. That's the problem. And here we pull some mean antics with Harmonized Catcher, so we can get Legendary Lilna in there while also threatening enemy units, so they don't end turn. They should have end turned instead of moving Duo Core in there. And now we just get the first action again and we just leave. And that's just a free win for us if I've ever seen one. We have a massive points advantage. They have to be aggro against us, and they can't because we have units like Legendary Lilna who can camp. So, not a good matchup here. And here's one of the times where we actually allow our opponent to use a Duochrome. And in fact, we allow them to use Duochrome and Bravechrome. What could possibly go wrong? So of course, the premise of this matchup, we need to absolutely obliterate Ascended Fiorm. And from there, we pretty much win the match. But that is difficult, of course, if the opponent knows what they're doing. So of course, here they do have some threats with Harmonize, Azura's Grey Waves Dance. So we have to be careful about that. And we're essentially camping here. And they actually allow us to pick up the kill on Ascended Fiorm, which is pretty absurd. That was not a good idea from them at all. We get the captain kill here, so we have now a points advantage.
You look radiant.
And so we use the
do you.
Harmonize skill here to burn turn because we're waiting for the dance. But we actually throw here. We actually just straight up throw the match here. But I thought for some reason Harmonized Roy still had his Kanto. He obviously didn't. So we just give them a straight up free kill here. Rayson's unfortunately unable to pick up the revenge kill because of chill attack defense on Duel in here, so that is a rip. Absolute rip. So we just throw the match straight up there. It actually still would have been a hard match for us to win, purely because of the threat range they could pull with Duel Lin and Harmonize Azura, and of course a fate changed on Bravechrome. But that was definitely a huge throw. We definitely should not have lost the match in that way if we were going to lose. Ripperonis. But here we are with this team. Again, we do allow a fate change here. As I do realize in this matchup, Asker and not Dual Mia, young Mia are our largest threats. Brave Crom is a threat with his damage reduction and a fate change, but he's less of a deal when you have some hyper nukes and weak units that are faster in him going to town. So here, Legendary Luna actually can't pick up the kill on young Mia as expected. She has Vital Astra and Spurn up, so chances are it's not gonna work.
Here we go. Count on me.
We do it again to see how our opponent reacts. They don't react very much, so well played. And now we're just waiting for the floodgates to release, essentially. For the walls, someone to break the wall and get things going. So we just preemptively burn the Harmonized skill because here I'm going to invite the trade of Shamir, or Harmonized Roy for Shamir if they want to do that. Because again, the captain points thing would give us a 1 point advantage, but they don't fight, which is pretty expected. Now we're going on the offensive here, but they decide to do a fate change, to use a fate change here, but that just gives us a free kill of Kanto. So that's a rip. They could try to go after us for a revenge kill, but we can just dance, so that's a small problem there. And there's no way for them to immediately threaten Legendary Luna this turn, so that's just a win for us. Here we go again in an up-tiered match against a tier 18 opponent. And this time around we're up against the now infamous duo of Brave Crom and Brave Seliph. Of course, the thing with Brave Seliph is his miracle shenanigans, his high mobility, and of course he gets no follow-up, which in duels is pretty darn important. If all your units got no follow-up, it would be pretty darn good. Like if Atri had no follow-up there, Asker probably would not have fared as well. So here we're already running into some problems, of course, because of Summertana's mobility shenanigans. We have to go for some bootleg plays here. But for some reason, they greed and advance not to this tile. I'm like, wait a second, we can just cheese our way to victory. Also, here, I'm not entirely sure. They actually greed even harder and they use a fate change on Brave Seliph here. I don't know why they didn't just straight up go for the kill on Legendary Sigurd here. I'm pretty sure he can pick up the kill. Straight up gets 40. He's obviously going to survive the counter and stuff. Sure, he gives our allies +1 movement, but I don't know. Because the problem is, we pull the meme play of blocking, body blocking with Ash. So now, Seliph can't, and Crom can't actually attack. And we get some teleportation available via Ash's opening retainer. Of course, Asker does have Bulwark, which is annoying. So they also blockade, but the problem is we can just kill Asker here, and they still can't attack except with Knot. And I already did my daily damage calcs. Knot is unable to 1-round KO Ash and Legendary Crom, especially since Legendary Crom is low attack defense, so Knot's attack stats pretty non-existent. At this point, we just chip down Knot with Legendary Sigurd, and with Atri we can just pick up the kill for the win. So I feel like there was some misplays there, but yes, things still would have been difficult for them if they did attack into Legendary Sigurd and give us a +1 movement. We would have been able to pick up the kill, so it's not trivial to say how things would have gone down if they went for that kill. But here we are, once again allowing a duo Crom. Since I saw that this team is mostly just ranged nukes and Odor just kind of there. So I figured we can deal with Riev since his stall procs on Atri, so we can keep her away from Legendary Sigurd, and we're fine. So here we go for the Atri threat because they have no far save, and unfortunately for them we did our daily damage calcs, so discovered that we could just casually one-shot their duo Crom, and now we already have the point advantage. So they have to be aggressive against us. I kind of throw here because I forgot that Atri was in 2 spaces of Legendary Sigurd, so he actually did get he actually did get stalled. So he actually wasn't grinding anything, which was kind of awkward. But I was doing my daily damage calc and saw, oh, he can just lol. So yeah, not great for our opponent here. And well, he could lull 1 round of combat. So he wouldn't be able to lull all of the enemy units, of course, but that's all you need here to lull 1 round, so that's a win for us again. And while we're up against this particular player, I'm pretty familiar with this particular player. You might be as well, but they're pretty up there in terms of competitive pay. Definitely, I've seen them plenty in ether raids and whatnot, but we are in an uphill battle because of Cannagus here. Although, there's some oversights that we made. For some reason, I completely forgot that Legendary Crom had this thing called a droid captain. So bad. So we could actually double Cannagus as long as we're faster than him, and spoiler alert, we can be faster than him. Although, of course, he does have Distant Defense 4, so it's not as much speed as you think, but it is enough speed to double. So we could have actually gone for attacks onto Cannagus, but unfortunately here, I completely forgot about until this point after I was like, oh, it doesn't matter if Crom is at 1 HP or full HP, because he can't double Cannagus anyways. Spoiler alert, he can, so he can't take 0 damage from Cannagus at this point, so the match is well lost at this point. We were already at a huge disadvantage regardless, because we would have to use Legendary Crom to take out Cannagus, and that would mean chances are they can probably pick up the captain kill with dual Crom. Maybe not, but we would be in a bad spot losing our captain afterwards, so I don't feel like it was a theoretically winnable match unless our opponent threw. And spoiler alert, this is the pinnacle of Summoner Duels gameplay. Best match you've ever seen ever, Captain. This is why the point system definitely needs some reworking, I would say. Of course, again, our win condition here, nuke Ascended Bjorn and call it a day. Of course, they're not going to let that happen easily if they're playing remotely well. So, as you might suspect, it's going to be a camping war. And so, our key to winning or surviving this camping war is we have to exploit their mistakes. And so here, their main mistake is constantly leaving a unit in the way here. This time it's Peony. So that they don't want to use Gundra to pick up the kill because again, captain kill points to OP. So they would want to pick up the kill on Harmonized Royal, Harmonized Lysithea. Problem is, we have, of course, Kanto, so we can just get a free exchange there. That's advantageous for us, because they get 1 fewer range cap. But the problem is, they can't leave with Kanto because Peony's blocking the way. So that's how we managed to avert the captain, or the capture capture point issue because, of course, we need to keep 4 units in the capture zone because they have all 5 units in here. And once again, same deal. I'm willing to sack Harmonize capture it. I even used the Harmonize skill to burn action because we are just stalling. Thing is, though, I don't know why they didn't go for the kill. Actually, I do know, because Legendary Ulm. Forgot we have triangle attack available to absolutely obliterate Ascended Fjorm. So that's why they didn't go for that. I forgot for a second there. And so here, this is where they actually go in to attack. But again, it's just an exchange. Nothing too big of a deal.
I'm with you.
And we just burn the Harmonize skill here to burn our last action so that they move first. And well, of course, no one's going to want to be aggro at this point. Because why would you? You would just lose. If they try to pick up a kill with Gunthra, then we just win by picking up the Revenge Captain kill. If they try to go in with Brave Erica, we have the units that can just nuke her out into oblivion before she gets to attack. So, of course, it's going to end in a draw. Classic Summoner Duels gameplay. But yeah, that's one of the matches where if we don't exploit our opponent's mistakes like we did there, we would have lost just from capture points. And there was nothing we could have done about that kind of a deal. So that's kind of how absurd this mode is. Here we get to use Duo Nina, which is not great, of course, because here we actually kind of throw again, because I forgot somehow Naga grants dragon effectiveness, so we could have done this thing called put Duo Nina adjacent to Naga to give dragon effectiveness.
Look at those two.
I popped the duo skill here, probably ill-advised, but here we just go for the attack. If we had the dragon effectiveness, that's just a 1-round KO, but yeah, we didn't do that, so the match is lost at this point. We can pick up the kill on Brave Self there, but that's it. We're just so down on actions. They still have our far save Ascended Thune, so match is just over. Nothing we can do about it.
They're wide open. I got this.
Things might have been slightly different if we could actually pick up the kill on Ascended Thune in 1 round, but probably not too much different with the way things went. Yeah, probably wouldn't have gone too much better anyways. And with that is our season here. Of course, we started up really got the 120, and then because we had our bonus unit Naga, didn't lose too much glory overall from our losses, but I guess the plus 20 glory did technically matter in terms of staying at 4,700, which again in this context doesn't matter because it's still tier 17, but first time we're going to get the bronze duelist trophy, so that's cool, I guess. And easily top 1k again like usual. Until next time, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ether Dragon, and hope to see you all next time. Bye.